Cuckqueans Erotica Bundle 4-pack, books 9 through 12. BDSM Erotica Threesome Erotica Lesbian Erotica Collection. Written by Connie Cuckquean. Narrated by Kelly Morgan. Auctioning off my husband's length. Cuckqueans 9.
It's busier this year,
George said, peering out from the side of the stage and overlooking the attendees. Well, Judith has been working hard, I said. It just means we'll raise more money this year.
Geez, I'm not sure about this,
George said, looking down at his outfit. He was dressed in a shirt and suit pants, but the most striking thing about him was the fact that his fly was open and his flaccid cock was drooping out from the hole. You'll do great, I said, rubbing his back. Who wouldn't pay top dollar for that? He laughed nervously.
What if it's a guy?
Only the women can bid on the men, silly. I looked out to the stage to see an auction being concluded for a lady whose plump tits were hanging through a hole in a board that obscured her face from the crowd. A lucky guy was already making his way backstage to claim his prize. You see, every year we made our way to the cancer charity auction, but the group that ran it were, well, let's just say adventurous. Much of what they did revolved around sex, and I guess it wouldn't be too far from the truth to suggest they were a kind of swingers club, although they accepted all kinds. My husband and I had attended before, but this year I decided that his cock was just too damn hot to keep to myself. I'd given him a pass for the evening on the proviso that I could accompany him and whoever wins the auction up to their hotel room. If he was going to have fun, I wanted to make sure I was there to watch. The auction worked by going up on stage and showing either your breasts or cock, depending on the gender, of course, and having the audience bid on what they saw. I was certain George would fetch a hefty price. Come on, you're next, I said excitedly, and I pulled over a kind of whiteboard on wheels that would cover him up. At its middle, there was a glory hole for him to display himself to the crowd.
I don't know if I can do this, Carol,
he said. You'll do fine, I said, kissing his lips and touching his cock. I let the kiss linger on him as I squeezed his balls and gently tickled along his shaft. Next item, number 43, the announcer called, looking back to the side of the stage. There was an applause as his number was called, which also happened to be our age. George went to move, but I stopped him, holding his shoulders.
What?
He asked, looking at me and then to the stage. Without a word, I sank to my knees and pushed my mouth up over his cock. I rolled my tongue around his length and felt it stiffen quickly in my mouth. Number 43! The compere called again, looking back and widening her eyes as she spotted me on my knees. I dragged my lips back over George and smiled up at him, rising to my knees and tickling again at his cock. By now it was filled with lust and punching out magnificently from his body. Go get him, I said, slapping his butt as he wheeled the whiteboard out and walked behind it. He squared himself up on stage, and I watched him guide that delicious wet cock of his through the hole and reveal it to the crowd. Immediately there was a collective gasp, followed by raucous applause. George was the only person to have put himself on display fully erect, and it was clearly a difference-maker. Let's start the bidding at 100, the auctioneer began. George was beaming as he looked to the side of the stage. I gave him a thumbs up and then joined his look of shock as the bidding soared. George's cock stayed hard the entire time, which I'm sure helped the final bid tremendously. To know that you were buying a reliable cock seemed like a guarantee like no other. I started to jump and clap from the side of the stage, and George looked over and laughed, watching my big tits bounce beneath my cardigan as the price for him rose. The bids continued to grow, and in my excitement, I lifted my cardigan to flash him, biting it in my teeth and squeezing my tits in the hope of maintaining that impressive erection of his. He stared as I played for him. My tits were perhaps my prize asset, now that the rest of my body was aging. They'd kept their smooth suppleness where other areas hadn't. It was one of the main reasons I thought the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?